Welcome in, listener. You're listening to a segment from the Slumpbuster podcast with Ju-Ju Dre. Find the full episode on Spotify, iTunes, the Google Play Store, or our YouTube channel. Enjoy.
NFL Week 1. It's starting up this week. I'm ready to just veg out watching Red Zone Channel all tomorrow. But first, I think it's only appropriate we do our first official predictions for the NFL season. So with that said, we're just going to start it off from the top. The Titans-Browns, that's going to be our morning game. Right now, Vegas has the Browns as a 5.5-point favorite. What do you think of this game?
I think Vegas has it right. I think the Browns are going to win it, especially with all the new offensive pieces. The Browns are even still decent on defense. They're at home. The one thing I worry about is the hype with the Browns, but I just think they're the better team than the Titans. So I got the Browns.
I got the Browns too, although I could see this being a field goal game. So I think Vegas may have went too high on that projection a little bit. The Titans are a scrappy team, and they're going to hang in this game. So watch out for them. I wouldn't be surprised if it's upset either. But for now, I'm going to go the smart choice and go with the Browns. Then we are moving on. We have the Ravens and Dolphins. Vegas has the Ravens as a 6.5-point favorite, which this one I'm surprised wasn't a 10-plus point line, to be honest. I know it's a home game for Miami, but with the just dump off of talent they had this week, in addition to just everything else, maybe they're expecting some Fitz magic. We'll see. I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, there's only so much magic in Fitz magic, right? Like, I think you'd have to be the genie from Aladdin or something to make this team win. And so same thing, I'm going with the Ravens. I think they cover that 6.5-point spread.
Yeah, I think that's a given. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the ugliest games of the week.
Yep.
All right, so moving on to Minnesota. They are going to be welcoming in those Falcons that just extended Julio Jones into town. The Vikings right now are a 3.5-point favorite. I like the Vikings, and I did pick them as my division favorite, so I think that involves them winning in week 1. So I'm going with the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going to be, it's going to be a little bit boring, but I'm going to also go with the Vikings. Though the Falcons being fully healthy could pull off the upset. I still like the Vikings, especially at home, though.
All right, let's see here. I have, as our next game up, AFC East showdown, Bills and Jets. Right now, the Jets are a 2.5-point favorite, but I like the underdog. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bills on the road.
Dang it. All right. I was going to pick the Bills, but just for the sake of being different, right, to mix it up for the show, I'll go with the Jets. I like some of the tools that they added this offseason. Le'Veon Bell, hopefully he just pops off some touchdowns.
Yeah, I just think the Bills have a tough defense, and I picked them as a fringe playoff team this year, so I could see that being some trouble for the Jets. New offense, too, so we'll never know what we're going to see. Now, this is one of the biggest lines of the week here. So you have the Redskins going to face the Eagles, and Vegas has this one as a 10-point line right now. Now, I know the Redskins aren't the best team in the world right now. They have a lot of drama happening, and the Eagles are a great roster. But this is a division game, so in week 1, where both teams have had more than enough time to prepare for each other, I think that I'm going to take the under on the points. I will still take the Eagles at home, obviously, but I think this game is going to be a lot closer than Vegas has it.
I think so, especially first game, right? There's always first game jitters, as we saw. I think the Bears and, the Packers game was a little bit closer than a lot of people had thought. And in fact, I had thought the Bears were going to win that. I don't think it's going to be an upset here, though. I don't see the Redskins beating the Eagles. But I think you're right. I think it will be closer than 10 points. I could see it maybe being a touchdown, right? It's a 7-point spread, but I think it'll be closer than 10.
All right, so last year's Super Bowl runner-ups, the Los Angeles Rams are going cross-country to take on the Panthers. Vegas has the Rams as a 2-point favorite on this one right now. I'm going to let you choose your pick first before I go.
Okay, so even though the Panthers are at home, I'm going to take the Rams, and I think they cover that spread, in my opinion.
Okay, good. So we actually do differ on this one. I'm actually going to take the Panthers at home here. These cross-country trips are always rough, and the Panthers have a good roster. They started off last season really well before TJ Watt injured Cam right there with his shoulder. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a tough one. And then that Super Bowl hangover, it's a legit thing, unless you're named the Patriots, it can affect you.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. And I think one thing that you said, right, is that cross-country sort of trip. So you're going from the West Coast to the East Coast, and that can, make a big difference. I think it's a little bit easier going because it's later on the East Coast, right? But it's still time differences always throw people
Well,
off.
the tough thing about it is a morning game, unlike a
Yeah.
lot of these later teams. So you're essentially going to take a 3-hour. So if this game's playing at 12 Central Standard Time, then we're talking about a 10 o'clock start time for over there on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Is less than ideal to play football.
Yeah.
Chiefs are going into Jacksonville this weekend. You're going to be talking about an unstoppable force versus an immovable object when you talk about the Chiefs offense versus what I think is going to be a revitalized Jags defense. Right now, the Chiefs are a 3.5-point favorite. I'm going with the Chiefs just to fulfill my record requirements with them.
Yeah, so I 100% agree. I think the Chiefs are going to, mostly out of my spite for Jacksonville, just because of the one playoff game they had against the Steelers. So I got the Chiefs, and I also have them covering the spread. I think they win by more than 3.5 points.
Let it go, man.
Never. There's no other reason why I hate Jacksonville except for that one game, and they put, a disappointing end to our postseason. So I really have no reason to hate Jacksonville all that much. I do think that they are a much improved team compared to like last year with Nick Foles, and their defense is back to where it was. I still give them no respect, Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see Jalen Ramsey versus Tyreek Hill. That's what I'm looking out for this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The next one here, so we're going to see the Colts in their first action without Andrew Luck since the retirement. They are going cross-country themselves to face the Los Angeles Chargers at home. The Chargers right now are 6.5-point favorite. I like the Chargers in this game, and I could see them covering that point spread.
Totally agree, especially with Andrew Luck. There's, now it's just really tumultuous and a lot of turmoil going on in Indianapolis with, such a quick retirement this close to the start of the season. So I think they're going to be, sort of off their rhythm, and I think the Chargers are going to win this one.
The next game up is another cross-country trip. Bengals are going into Seattle to face the 12th man. The Seahawks right now are a 9.5-point favorite. I'm going to take the Seahawks, but I think this line's a little too high. I think the Bengals, with their new offense, are going to be a little bit more explosive than people give them credit for. And the Seahawks don't exactly run up the scoreboard either. So I'm going to take the Seahawks and take the under.
Yeah, I'm kind of boring. I'm going mostly with all the, projections that Vegas has, but I'm also going the Seahawks. Just for the sake of being different, I think they cover that point spread.
Okay.
I'll take the over.
Next one up, this game I'm going to be watching. 49ers at Bucks. So the Bucks are currently a 1-point favorite. This game has varied between being a toss-up, coin toss game, according to Vegas. I'm going to take my Niners here because even though it's a cross-country trip, at least they have the benefit of it, one, being an afternoon game, and two, I'm not really sold on the Bucks as a whole. So I'm going to go with the Niners. They haven't shown a lot this preseason. I think it's Jimmy Garoppolo's time to shine with a big week one.
Really? And I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to fail week one, so I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. He hasn't impressed me that much in preseason. And we went, into sort of an exhaustive list of why that might be, but I still think he's got a little bit of jitters to him, so I'll take the Bucks.
What the buck, Aundre?
It'll be a fun game, though. I am excited to watch that game, just to see it.
All right. Next up, this is usually the Sunday night game to start the year, but actually we got the Giants and Cowboys. Cowboys are a touchdown favorite right now at 7 points. I'm going to take the Cowboys just because everyone knows I'm down on the Giants this year. It's going to be a little tight game. I'm going to bet the under on that point spread, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Cowboys, now that they got Zeke back, everybody's, nice and happy, at least for now. I think the Cowboys are going to win it. I think they cover that spread. The Giants just right now are not a very good team, though I do hope for my fantasy. I just made a trade for Saquon Barkley, so I'm hoping he pops off and the Cowboys can't stop him, but I still think the Cowboys win.
Pause. Someone traded you Saquon? What you have to give up is my first question.
Okay, so I ended up getting so I gave up C-Mac, right? So Christian McCaffrey for Saquon. I also had to give up Jarvis Landry, which really, really hurt. But I ended up getting Tyrell Williams in return. And so now with the AB news, right, Williams might actually be a good go-to option in Oakland.
Well, stay tuned for the Slumpbuster Fantasy Football Podcast with Harrison Blake and Lee for more.
Yeah, so it might end up working out. I was very sad to give up Jarvis Landry. I had him on my bench as, sort of my next go-to wide receiver, which I think he can do really well. I hear Odell Beckham is also injured, right? Has a little bit of a hip injury, so maybe Jarvis can really show out. But I ended up getting Williams, and now that AB is out of Oakland, Williams might be my sort of sleeper that I got on the bench.
Well, absolutely. I have Williams in a league too, so we'll see.
I know, and I was actually in that league looking to see if I could pick up Williams right now since Antonio Brown is an idiot. And sure enough, you have him. So,
well, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it is what it
moving
is.
on, we have the Lions are going cross-country take on the Cardinals. 2.5-point favorite, the Lions. I think that's about appropriate. This Cardinals team is, at least what I've seen in preseason, is rough. Their offensive line is rough. And you got to say the thing about Detroit this offseason, they made some moves on their defense that's going to make them a little bit more imposing, and they're going to rip apart that Cardinals offensive line. Though I am intrigued to see Kyler Murray in his first week 1 action. I am intrigued to see what this offense does. I'll take the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lions too. Like I said, I'm boring. I'm mostly going with the favorites in all of these picks. The Cardinals, though, just were not impressive in the preseason, especially when you have a generational talent, right, like a Kyler Murray, or at least what people think is supposed to be a generational talent. He was not that impressive. But a lot of that is just because the offensive line wasn't very good, right? And so he's getting pressured all the time. And I just don't think their coaching is all of that great. So I'm going to take the Lions.
Okay, well, here's the game you're probably most excited for this week. We have the Steelers going on to face those boys up there in New England. The Patriots right now are a 5.5-point favorite. What are you thinking for this one?
So it pains me as a Steelers fan, but I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think they do win this one. 1, they're at home. 2, the Steelers seem to have a mental block against the Patriots, like every single time they play them. And I think it's just a big brother type of thing in that every time we play the Patriots, like either we're getting out coached or it's just a mental block and we can't get past them. I don't know if I see it changing much. I do hope that I'm wrong. I hope that the Steelers can pull it out. And the Patriots are notorious for starting slow, but I'm still going to take the Patriots on this one.
Dang, I have more faith in your team than you do. I'm actually going to go with the Steelers. I know it's going to be a tough one, but the thing is, the Patriots always start slow in these big primetime games, and that causes a media freak out for the next 3 weeks, which we have promised on this show we will not do.
So we will not do that.
We will not do that. So I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think they're going to want to prove something in this game. It's going to be their first game without AB and Le'Veon together. Big Ben's big chip on his shoulder. He's going to want to ball out this game. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think that this is a sneaky upset pick.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely doable, right? And as we sort of said on the show quite a few times, the Patriots always start off slow. I guess what I'm hoping is if I talk enough crap about my team, it motivates them to do well.
Okay.
I had them pick second in the division behind the Browns, and then I have them losing this game. So maybe now they'll do something to prove me wrong, and they'll take first in the division and they'll win this game.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Next game up, the first of our Monday Night Football games, we have the Texans at Saints. Now, I'm looking at this line, a touchdown favorite for the Saints. I understand they're playing in the Superdome, but I'm actually going to go with the underdog here, too. I like the Texans. I know it's a tough game on the road, and they're dealing with all that Jadeveon Clowney mess, but the last year, the Saints kind of came out a little slow themselves, and they lost to Ryan Fitzpatrick, so that if that doesn't say a lot, I don't know what does. But, yeah, I think Deshaun's going to want to show something. It's going to be his stage on Monday night. And with the new additions to the offensive line with Laramie Tunsil, Kenny Stills, I don't know if the Saints have enough people to cover all those weapons.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that the Texans can do it. That's why I'm quite surprised that it's, a 7-point line that, the Saints are that favored. I think it's going to be closer. I still have the Saints winning, mostly because I'm hoping Drew Brees can have that MVP level season. They're also at home, like we mentioned earlier. So I got the Saints winning, though I don't know if it's going to be a 7-point win. I think it'll probably be under.
All right, next up, the second of our Monday night games. So we get to watch the Broncos face the Antonio Clownless Oakland Raiders. Now, this has the Broncos as a 2-point favorite. I don't know if that line's going to move up now that the news broke. But even with that said, I'm still going to go with the Broncos in this game. I think it's just the Raiders have a lot to overcome this week, and their mind is not going to be on this game quite in the way that Gruden and company would have liked.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think had the Raiders still had Antonio Brown and had he not been acting crazy, I might have even picked them. But now there's no way. It's just been a complete mess. They've been having to deal with a lot of things that are beyond football, right? And when you have that much dysfunction, I think it's hard in any sport, whether it's, football, baseball, basketball. And so just all those distractions, even though the Raiders are at home, I also don't think that they have that many great pieces anymore. Like the Broncos are not outstanding on offense either, but I still have the Broncos.